Fuzzy Kitten of Doom. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Factorio. In this episode, we are going to be setting up the groundwork for our oil production um, facilities. First, I just kind of want to complete making a few bunkers to kind of help out defense while I'm figuring out how to make everything work. Basically, until I have laser turrets unlocked, usually what I do is I'll feed the standard turrets with ammunition from a factory like I have set up there. It seems to work about the best and just kind of wall it off. And as you can see, I had it just in time before that wave of biters comes through. When I was actually playing through, that actually made me jump, which doesn't happen that often in this game. But yeah, so we go down to where we well, I'm getting ahead of myself there. Just getting some more walls. Basically, that same area is where I'm ultimately going to be setting up my oil production. There's some oil on that side of the lake, and then for future expansion, there's oil dotted basically all the way around that lake there. So it shouldn't be that big of an issue to get more oil once those first wells get dry. So yeah, and just kind of running around checking on things. Everything still seems to be keeping up. And as usual, I run out of iron in my personal inventory. Um, that's always a problem, at least with me, is I don't set up a way to gather the excess iron plates right away, and I usually end up running out all the time. So that's why I'm kind of running back and forth here, picking up iron, picking up steel from time to time. And it's usually not that big of a deal, but when you're spread out like I am on this playthrough, it definitely hinders things. But yeah, just kind of getting the basics of oil harvesting set up. Obviously, having the pump jacks there and then feeding that into a tank. And then we are going to need to set up the actual refinery and have the tank feed that. Um, yeah, I mean, oil's fairly simple. It's just when you get into refining the different byproducts, that's when it can kind of get a little bit complicated. But yeah, and as you can see there, I'm doing a trick that I saw to kind of even out the ore coming down. Basically, what was happening was I was not supplying my furnaces with enough ore to keep up with the metal demand, and um, basically nothing was flowing as fast as it needed to. So did a couple things like that. I also believe this is where I end up using the fast inserters, or not inserters, the fast belts, and kind of make everything run a little bit more smoothly. But yeah, so and yeah, just setting up, getting the excess iron going there. Um, Also running pretty low on charcoal, so I do decide to go fix that problem. Basically, just kind of overkilling it by adding two more miners. That's way more than I need, but kind of future-proofing it at that point. Um, and yeah, I mean, the more factories and more stuff like that that I set up, the more electricity I'm going to need, and the more furnaces I have going, the more coal I'll need for that. So um, just figured it wouldn't hurt anything to kind of overkill it. So here, if you're wondering what I'm trying to do, basically I'm trying to set up a factory for the fast inserters. Excuse me. And I realized that where I have my other inserters, it's not going to work. Um, yeah, so I'll have to do that a little bit further down the line. I do like to have a factory set up um, for the belts and the fast belts and ultimately like the factories and stuff like that, just so I don't have to sit there and wait for them to produce. Um, when I need them, I can just go pick them up. But yeah, that is not the case, and this is pretty much just me trying to figure out if there's a good way for me to do that or if it's not worth it. And ultimately, I decided that it's not worth it. So, um, yeah, just kind of going through here um, and picking up some more material um, as I replace those with fast inserters, or not inserters. I keep saying inserters, fast belts. And I do that, and then I also do that down um, towards the main part of the factory there for the signs, and get that all set up. And basically, just adding those two sets of fast belts um, basically supplies everything faster. So it's not really producing my output capacity. It's just um, more or less making it all work together. Um, that way, the furnaces are putting them out as fast as they produce them, and can just move everything along a little bit smoother. But yeah. So now that I have that taken care of, I decided to go down and actually set up my refinery. I do like those underground pipes. They just kind of make everything less cluttered. But yeah, ultimately I decided to have go this way so that I can utilize that empty space in between my um, all of my factories and all my electricity production there. And yeah, I need more steel, need more iron, and need to kill some biters. And yeah, I'll get back to work. So yeah, I am kind of regretting having it this spread out. I mean, I do like to have things spread out, but this is a little bit on the extreme side. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is at this point. So yeah, usually I set up 3 holding tanks for the heavy oil, the light oil, and the what's the other one called? Petroleum gas or something like that. Um, and that way, the refinery doesn't stop just because something's full. And if it does, you can always just pull another tank and put it on there, just to kind of keep things moving along. Because eventually, once you are using all of your byproducts, it will. I mean, you are going to be using everything that the refinery is putting out. So it usually doesn't end up being that big of a deal. So I'm going to finish up this episode just by expanding my electricity a little bit. I love doing it modularly like this. It just makes it so much easier. And in the next episode, we're going to start putting some of those oil byproducts to use. And yeah, fighting off a bunch of biters and maybe beefing up our defenses a lot. So other than that, this is Alex from FCOG Gaming. Take care.